Here we'll take a look how to use image picker to upload images to app as well as to the server. First go ahead and create a simple app or project, and then here I do have a main function and a stateless class. That's all I have. And then after that go ahead and install this image picker package. I'm using the latest version, and then we'll also use getX package for managing state because we are going to upload the image to the server. So we need to know how the states are changed. So we use getX for that. And we'll also use http for uploading the image to the server. Okay. All right. And after that, for iOS settings, come to this info.plist file. And over here, type in this key and its value. Okay, this is necessary for permission. And for Android users, go ahead and write these two lines. Well, even though it says that you don't need them, but make sure that you always get the permission. So hopefully this will make sure that you get permission, even though the writer said on Android devices you don't need them, but it would help you. Anyway, okay, so now we'll come to our main class, main.dart class over here. And right over here, after this, we'll create a new class, a stateful class, and we'll call it my homepage or homepage. All right. Okay. So we have a stateful class over here. All right. Well, inside this stateful class, we have first declared two variables over here. One is file, another is picked file. Now, picked file over here would be using for grabbing object from our library or gallery of our phone. And then whatever the object we get, definitely we want to get image, and we'll put that in this file object, okay? And using this file and picked file, we'll get an image. So here we have initialized the image picker and we created an object, we called it picker. And after that, over here we have a method called pick image. Now pick image, inside this, actually this is what we are doing. We are accessing the gallery and then we'll get the image or get an object from the gallery, okay? And we'll check if the object is not null. We'll get that object one more time and get the path from it, and based on that path we'll get a file, and hopefully that file would be our image, and we put it in this image object. And why we put it in set state? Because once the file has been loaded, we want to redraw our UI. So inside the build method, now we have returned a scaffold over here, and we have defined the app bar as well as the body. Now we wrapped it around safe area. And right after that, actually, we have a column, and then inside this column we have a button. Button name is select an image, and from here we wrapped it around a gesture detector, and we want to call this pick image on the onTap event. Now pick image is a method that we have defined early over here. Okay, now this is the time we go ahead and call our home page from here. So here we'll simply do like this. Homepage. Now we'll go ahead and restart our app. After that, we'll run our app first time, and we see things like this. And this is what we expected because all we have a text over here. But we'll click on this, and it asks us to allow access to all photos because we're running it first time. So we'll click on it, and then we'll randomly select a photo. Of course, the photo has been selected, but it's not visible yet because we don't have any UI for it. Here we'll draw our UI, and we have a container. Now container over here inside this, as a child I have image.file. So whatever the file has been picked, we first check whether it's null or not. If it's not null, then we'll take that path and use it as an image object, okay? and we'll just simply go ahead and display it. Now if the the picked file is null, then we'll just say please select an image. So let's go ahead and refresh our app. So this is what we have, because this is the one that we had early. So let's go ahead and try to select a new image. And we see that it works. Okay. Once again, this is working because over here inside this image file we have this path, and from this path we take the object and convert it to an image using this file constructor. Okay, so that's why it works. Now this time we want to upload our image to the server, and for this reason we'll come over here, and inside this we'll simply create a new file and we'll call it image controller. And now over here we'll create a class, and after that we'll come to our main.dart file, and over here this whole section will cut from here, and then we'll come over here and paste it. And for now we don't need this file object, so we can skip that, and we need to import the necessary libraries. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and right now over here we don't need this thing anymore. We don't need this set state function. All we could do, we can simply use go ahead and call update function, which directly comes from getX package. Okay, so all we did, transfer the code from here to here and replace set state with update function. And right now we want to create a getter for picked files. So this would be our getter. Now we'll come over main.dart file, and over here we'll come to this safe area, and we'll cut this on, and right here we'll do get builder, and here we'll call image controller, and then we'll have builder method, and then we'll create an instance, and right after that we'll return over here, and we'll do return statement, and we'll put our safe area over here. And of course we need to import libraries. Let's go ahead and do that. So the first one we do get, and then as well as we also need to import our image controller, so which we can do it easily. Alright, now we'll open up our safe area view, and over here just now we created a method which is called pick image. Now instead of making it private, we'll make it public. Now we'll come over here and call that one. So simply we'll come over here, use this one, image controller dot pick image. Okay, and right now over here, instead of getting picked file directly, now over here we would do the same thing. So we don't want to call the private one, we want to call the public variable. So you do image controller dot picked file. Okay, and over here we do the same thing. Now this picked file is coming once again from here. Okay, now we'll go ahead and run our app one more time from the beginning, and we'll make sure that it works. Okay, now we get this error. The reason is we need to inject our image controller. So let's go ahead and come to our build method. Right over here at the top we'll inject our image controller. We do get dot lazy put. Here we do image controller. So now let's go ahead and run it one more time. The error should be gone. Okay, now let's select an image. Select one randomly, and we say it still works. So even though we moved all of the dynamic logic to this file, but it still works. Let's try it one more time. Yes, it works. Okay. Now we want to create a method that would upload image to the server, and this is the method that would upload image to the server. Let's go ahead and import some libraries, and we are using http. We are using http because we want to use multi-part request function for uploading image, because that helps us to upload files to the server. Now let's go ahead and import http. So here I'm importing http as http. Now the error is gone. Now here we see that we have another method that we need to create. So let's go ahead and create the method. So we'll create this method at the bottom over here. So this is the actual method that does the magic, and over here we need to import a library which is for file. So let's go ahead and import it. Now the error should be gone. Now inside this we are using multi-part request. Now we use this function to create an object, and after creating object we just do some basic conditional check whether it is mobile, whether this data is empty or not. But now where is this data coming from? Now this data is coming from over here, the picked file data. So once you upload an image over here, it's in the memory, so we get that object from the memory and we pass it to this function over here. And inside the function, we make sure that it is not null. If it is not null, then we get the path, and once again we use our file constructor to use this path to create an image. Okay, and over here we explicitly mention that we want to create an image, and we add some additional conditions over here. And then after all these conditions has been done, and then we take this object and send the request to the server, and the server simply returns us a response. Now this response we take over here and check the status code. If it is 200, it means everything went well. And then whatever the response we get, because we are uploading image, so the response would be given us as a stream, and we convert it to string, okay, and then we convert it to a map, okay, and the map will have a message, but of course it is coming from server. Now actually we'll go ahead and take a look at the server response. And what's this message? Now here this is the endpoint, which is upload, and this is a function that gets called. Now this one gets called from here. As you can see, my endpoint is upload. So it could be anything for you. You can also try it on localhost, but of course you don't have to try my URL, because it might not be valid when you try. It's just valid for me, and it's a temporary solution. So code looks like this. So here, if you take a look, here we have this upload function that's pointed from our Flutter app, and here we make a directory and we call it test, and then we grab the image object from this request object using this image keyword, because the file contains one of the images, and then we check if it is null or not. If it's not null, which means it has an image object, so we generate an unique ID based on this unique ID function, and then we save it as a PNG format. Okay, all right. So this is the image name that we generate actually. Not yet we are saving, but this helps us to generate unique ID with PNG format name. So this creates a name for us, and then we check if there is this public directory in our server. Well, if it's not, then we go ahead and make a public directory, and inside public directory create another directory which is called test over here. So public test directory, so it would look like this. So it would be like a public test. Okay, So now with this, we would be able to create two directories, public and test. Now over here, after that, we put the image, so we get the content, okay? Based on this name, we create content, okay? As well as we have this image object over here, actually, this one. So under the hood, it takes the name and create an image for us and put it in the public directory, which is this one, and under this test directory, which is this one. So it could be any name, it doesn't matter, but most of the time you don't want to change this public name. So this is a convention where you put your images if they are going to have to be accessible from outside world, and at the same time you also save the image name. Okay, well, if things go wrong, so here we return a default image. So this is the image that we have in our server. Okay, all right. And now this part for you guys is not necessary, so you can skip this one, but in general, if you upload an image to the server, that means a user, so that user credential should be updated as well. But in this tutorial, I'm not going to cover this, so you can skip this one. And if things are okay, then we return 200 and as well as the image name with its complete path. Okay, all right. So if you have your Laravel app, say www.example.com, then over here it would be your image path would be storage test image name.png. Okay, so this is where you'd be able to completely access even from browser. Okay, so that's how it works. So now this is the code logic for Laravel using PHP, but this idea should be same for Nodejs or any other framework that one you use. Okay, the idea is pretty much same whatever you use. Okay, so for Nodejs and other framework, you can check out the link below. So the server-side code you can copy from there and you can run it on your side. Okay, all right, thank you. So once we are here, we have this message object. So all it does, it returns a image path that is stored in the server. For this reason, we'll go ahead and declare a new variable at the top. So in this variable, we'll save the image path that is returned from server. So here we'll simply do image path call message. Okay, now with this we are set. So now we'll come to our main.dart over here, a new UI. First we created a bit of distance, and then in the UI, inside a container, we have a child, and the child checks if there is image path or not. Do remember that. After with this, once we call the update method, the image path will be updated. Either it has a path or it's null. So that's what we check over here. If image controller.image path is not null, then we get the base URL and then our image path from the server. And with this, we'll be able to get the image path from the server. And then because we are putting it inside image.network, we are going to use that path to show the image on our app. Now let's go ahead and try it. So you're restarting everything. Okay, so now here we see that server upload. Now this is a method that we have created over here. So this is the method. So here we see server upload. Now server upload is a button. Now this is the button over here. So all it does, it go ahead and calls this upload. So it's coming from image controller. So we do image controller.upload. So this method would get called, and then this method would get called. It would post the image to the server and then return the response. We check the response. If we have correct response, then we update the image path. and then we update the UI as well using this update method. So that what happens over here once you click on this button. And down below, if we have image, we just show it. So now let's come to our app over here. So first select an image locally. So we'll select this image. Now we see the image is locally. Now we want to upload it to the server over here. So we'll click on this. So it would upload to the server, and if we get image path from the server, then we are putting inside this. That means that we can access the image from the server using this URL. So let's click on this and see what happens. Yes, so that image was uploaded to the server as well as the path has been returned, and we see the image over here. Now we will see our log file over here. So this is the path, okay? So this is the image path in the server. Now together with this, we'll be able to access it, okay? Now let's try it, one more image. So click on this, we'll select this one. Now click upload server, and we see that it gets updated immediately, okay? So yes, that's how you upload an image from your app to the server. Thank you.